to Heart of the Whole Villa for the podcast here again with my good friend Dan Wiseman. How you doing, dude?
I'm very, very good this week.
Yeah.
Yeah, as must you be.
Of course. We've got to talk about Derby away. The fantastic result, 3-0 away from home against the side that plays similar football to what Dean Smith would like to play. First half, I mean, I've had friends who are Derby fans saying it was a game of two halves, but I thought we were relatively comfortable in the first half.
Yeah, I think in no way was I expecting what then came in the second half, but the first half I was pretty happy. I was like, you know what, if we can come out of this with a draw, I'd take it. Like, honestly, I thought Derby are a side that are playing well. You only have to look at the trouble they've caused for Chelsea United in recent weeks. You know, they're a good team. And so I was happy. I mean, we said our predictions were, you know, that we were fearing a loss, and I thought first half we showed up and taking a draw, I thought would have been pretty good, but I was just blown away by what happened after the break.
I mean, Derby, you know, weren't without the chances. The 3 1-on-1s, which I think we've got to give big credit to Ian Nyland. There's been talk of Chester and Derby needing to do more to prevent them, but I think when you're playing a long ball that deep into the box, you can't really blame them for not wanting to bring down Marriott and co.
Absolutely. I think, it's nice that you praise Nyland, because I think at points I've been the only Villa fan that has kind of been semi-consistent with my praise for him. But yeah, again, it's just shot stopping, isn't it? That bails us out more than anything. I think, you know, it's more around a game that he gets criticised. But again, you know, I think what's good is that he's putting in these performances, he's making these big one-on-one saves that keep us in games and that enable us to go and get results like this. And I think we're seeing that more and more from him now. It's becoming quite a regular occurrence that he's making these big saves, so it's good for him. And I'm actually, you know, for one, quite glad that, you know, he's managed to achieve some level of consistency in his game. Fantastic
save from Harry Wilson's shot, wasn't it? I mean,
yeah, brilliant.
I think the club making a big point of the togetherness of the squad after that as well, with them all coming over, which is nice to see, because I think, you know, obviously he's received a lot of criticism, and that must be difficult, sort of knowing, or not knowing, but thinking that you are the weak link in the side. So it's nice to see that obviously the team back him. Dino has backed him so far, and we've got Neil Cutler as well, who seems to have had an instant impact on Ireland, really, hasn't he?
Yeah. I mean, Oyan is a keeper, as I said. There's definitely divided opinions, and he made mistakes. He makes mistakes, you know. This is still, but I was really impressed with the pass that he played. In the work that ended in Tammy missing that chance where he put it past the far post, and he played that really good pass into midfield. Whether he meant it is something that we're not going to talk about, but the fact is that he made it. And so I'm really happy for him. He made some great saves, and as I said, I think the hardest thing for a goalkeeper in bad form is not just the fans and obviously the way of the result, is your teammates around you, because there's nothing worse than playing in a team where, you know, you can tell by the way that your teammates play around you that they've got no faith in you. So to see, as you said, the tweet where everyone, you know, came over and gave him a pat on the back is nice to see for everyone involved, but especially Oyan, I imagine.
Scott Carson obviously not having a great day for Derby in between the sticks. 3 goals within about 12 minutes, and I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't, because we've spoke a lot about how, you know, we were expecting the performances to get better and it'll eventually click, but like that was one hell of a click, wasn't it?
Unbelievable. And this is what I mean. I think everyone, when Blues were starting to put that run of form together a few weeks ago, and Jukovic was scoring for fun and everything, a lot of Villa fans were quite scared by the Derbyers when, you know, Smith was first coming in and the signs were there, but we weren't really clicking. And I said along, I was like, look, at one point this is just going to take off, and I don't even think anyone quite knew the extent to which it would, but I had a good feeling, and I didn't expect it to be so soon. But boy, in the second half, I think at least on par with the Wolves' performance from last season, the best I've seen Villa play in the Championship. The second half, we were unbelievable. It was liquid. Derby didn't have, I can't remember them putting any kind of pressure, you know, on us for an extended period of the game. I was really impressed by literally everything that was on the pitch. We were unstoppable, I thought. We really were.
Nice to see McGinn get involved in the goals as well, a goal and assist. It's nice, he's the kind of player where you see his effort on the pitch, but maybe when you're talking to someone who's looking in from the outside, that's Grealish. He's not got the goals or assists to match the hype that we give McGinn. So it was nice to see him score an assist. It was nice little work from across for a little man. But that's what we've been wanting. We've been needing that midfield runner.
Yeah, absolutely. We haven't had. It's taken us God knows how many. We still haven't replaced Stilian Petrov.
No.
I mean, we lost Petrov, and that was a problem in the Premier League, and it's been a problem throughout the Championship. Is that we haven't had that one nailed-on centre midfielder. You know, the fans can attach to, that we attach to, that we can expect good performances from, and it's John McGinn. It's finally come in. I saw a poll on Twitter, and it was people being asked who their favourite Villa player was, and it was Chesney, McGinn, or Grealish, or another, and it was 75% John McGinn. And this lad has been here a matter of, well, just over 3 months now, something like that, and he's an unbelievable impact. And I think he's Premier League. I really do. I think, you know, he's a bit of a rough diamond. I think it's taken him time to truly settle in, but if we can get John McGinn just to sharpen up those little moments, because sometimes he can be a little bit sloppy, and I think he's one of those players that puts 110% in, and sometimes that can work against the player. They can start trying too hard, and I think you saw it early on when he was less confident in his games. He'd make a mistake and he tried too hard to rectify it. And so I think there's a few things that need fine-tuning, but what a player. Yeah, and for 2.5 mil, the best piece of business I can remember Villa doing for a long, long time. Definitely.
And when, as you say, Premier League quality for me, he'll be at a Watford, an Everton maybe next year. You could see him sort of taking a punt maybe. I see him a bit like a Ghana type player.
Absolutely.
Except I think he's getting a lot more recognition than Ghana did. You know, obviously circumstances depended on that year, but he's one that if we don't go up, he may well be the first to go. And do you know what, he deserved that, wouldn't he?
Yeah, if I was your kind of mid-table Premier League teams, you know, towards the higher end, I'd look at John McGinn before Jack Grealish, because he's going to come in with, he's going to cost you a lot less. He's going to, you know, in both wages and in transfer fees, you know, and he's so good all round. And as you said, you know, Grealish hasn't really put up the numbers for this season, but that can't be said of John McGinn. He's coming, you know, considering how, you know, tough everyone says English football is hard to adapt to, and obviously I know he's come from Scotland, but the intensity, he spoke about it in his interview with Petrov for the YouTube channel, how different the intensity is, you know, the kind of Wednesday, Saturday routine. And I've been so impressed with his work rate, and I think, you know, for a Premier League club, I'd be looking at him now. I really would, because he's a fantastic talent.
He's good.
Absolutely.
Tammy Abraham as well. Had plenty of chances in this game. Plenty. And as someone tweeted the other day saying if only he wasn't, like, if only he was prolific. And I kind of expected him to be that kind of striker, but, you know, you can't expect all of them to go in. He'd have been delighted with his one goal. Off the mark again, really, isn't he?
Yeah, I really like Tammy. I like that he gives us two very different dimensions, because for a big lad, he's very good on the deck. Technically, he's very sound, I think. He's taller than a lot of Championship centre-backs, which is something that I've noticed about Tammy in his matchups, especially from set pieces. He's, you know, a very commanding figure, often the tallest player on the pitch. I remember the Swansea game at home, Dean Smith's first game in charge. He made Van der Horn look tiny, and it's like instances like that where I think he gives us something. He's very multi-dimensional. You know, you can play a lot of ways, and I think, given the service, he's proven he can score goals, and, you know, as this season get on, his finishing is going to get better and better and better. And I think, you know, given there's a lot of insecurity about his future, you know, as the case with a lot of Chelsea's loanees, and I think, you know, if we go up in the not too distant future, I hope there's a future at Villa for Tammy Abraham, because I think he's a really, really good player.
I think I think before, with loan players, they're a bit funny, aren't they? Because they've obviously come because they want to play football, but it's a bit of a different. There's a bit of a difference between signing a player and signing a player on loan in terms of the player's intentions. And I think, you know, it's fair to say that of Tammy Abraham's was to come and prove himself again. He may have thought he was ready to play under Sarri at Chelsea, which he clearly isn't, because that's why he's at Aston Villa. But I really get the feeling of him and Tunzabi and also Snodgrass of last season that they're really enjoying being at the club.
Yeah, I think, as you mentioned Snoddy there, and I think the thing with Tammy is, like, I was a bit hesitant when we signed him because I remember it was around that time. I think El Ghazi had signed. I don't think Balassi had yet signed. And we were linked with all these attacking players, and I felt the squad was crying out, as we still are, for a defender. And I looked at the signing of Tammy. I thought, you know what, we've got Hogan, we've got Kodja. You know, I feel like up top we're going to be okay. I really want a defender, and especially when he was really pushing for a Premier League signing. He was reluctant to drop down to the Championship. I didn't see it going so well, but I've been really proved wrong. I have to give a lot of credit because, as I said, he wanted Premier League football. He made it clear that that was what he wanted. He was reluctant to drop down to the Championship, and he's been really professional about it, actually. He's got on with things, done the business. He seems to be forming a great relationship with Jack Grealish. It's nice to see he's doing bits for the English under-21s as well. That's always good to see. So yeah, I could not be happy with him. I'm really happy, and as I said, hopefully he stays at the Villa for a few more years to come, because he's certainly very good, and I think he can turn into a great player.
Yeah, as I say, it's for me it's a complete shock how, I don't want to say how well he's taken it, because obviously there's got to have been a certain amount of him that wanted to come and play football, and you know, for Villa he was linked with other Championship clubs, and Forest were even linked with him when they. So I think, you know, just his attitude in general on the pitch as well. He leads by example. He's in the wall. He's organising everything. He's a real motivator, which for me is kind of strange as a striker. Who were always sort of dubbed as the selfish, selfish kind of players. And there's been a few instances this season where Tammy and Kodja have played up front, and I've said to my dad, like, look, if Kodja's not going to give the ball to Tammy, like, I can't see Tammy returning the favour, but I've been completely wrong. He's in it for the team, and I, as you say, I think if we go up, you know, maybe it's not straight away, but I see a future at Aston Villa for Tammy Abraham.
I hope so, as I said, because he's definitely got potential, and what is going to be interesting is if they introduce the loan cap. It's going to affect clubs like Chelsea, and obviously, you know, with Chelsea being in the position they're in, they're not really in a position to give players like Tammy Abraham a chance, a prolonged spot in the first team to try and prove himself. So, you know, if something like that is introduced, you know, players like that become available, and hopefully it's to Villa.
Yeah. Conor Hourihane as well, I think we should talk about him. Obviously, start of the podcast, the last podcast, you give him a lot of praise. I was kind of taken aback by that, but now I think that, you know, he's got the free kick to shut me up. It was great, and I really like Conor. I think last season, I think, you know, the times that he's been at Villa, I've never really shown exactly what Conor Hourihane is, because you know, obviously he gets the goals and he's quite attacking with it, but in his position, from a tactical perspective, he always seems very deep. You often see him kind of the metronome on the halfway line, ticking things over, and so I've never been, as I was saying, exactly sure of what kind of player he is. And I think under Dean Smith it's become quite clear. I've been really impressed with his performance. He's a cool head, he's got a great passing range, and I think he's scored the most goals from outside the box of any Championship player in the last 2 seasons, something like that. I saw a stat, and it's great to have him in this team. I really like it, and I think we've got a good free kick taker as well, which again is not something that we've had for a little while. Someone that, you know, you feel confident in from outside the box, and you know, he deserves a lot of praise for his performances, and especially the one against Derby. You knew as soon as he stood up for that free kick that he was going in. Like, and it's easy to say as he scored it, but like I just had that feeling. We were in such good form. We had all the momentum, and players step up for the free kicks and don't always seem that confident. But ball straight away, down, bam, and what a free kick! I think the wall let him down.
Yeah.
As pundits and everyone has been saying, like on Quest and on Sky, people should know where Hourihane's putting that ball.
Yeah.
He never goes and changes his side.
No, so absolutely.
Although it's a fantastic free kick, keeper's got to do his homework. I mean, I saw a picture last night of Jordan Pickford warming up, and they zoomed in on his water bottle, and they asked the US penalty takers and which direction they went in. So it didn't look like Scott Carson did his
No, it's certainly not, quite not to that extent. I think all 3 of the goals you can pick hot. If you're a Derby fan, you're very disappointed with. The defending was very light. Balls into the box they struggled with, and I think but this is the thing. I think what it's nice has been, I haven't seen much of that on Twitter. I think everyone's just been really pleased by the team performances. I haven't seen anyone saying but keeper should have done better, defence. And I think it's nice we've come together in a fantastic victory. It's come at a really good time. I think the week before the Blues game, I think we could have probably done without the international break. It would have been nice to keep that run of form, get straight into the Blues game. But it's another couple of weeks for the lads to prepare for it. Everyone knows what's coming. I think McGinn and Taylor both been withdrawn from their respective squads, so we can hope they're fit.
I think it's precautionary, more so McGinn than Taylor.
Yeah.
Obviously Taylor came off in the Derby game, which kind of swing the momentum a bit. I think again, I will openly say this. I've criticised Neil Taylor, but he has been exceptional this season in my opinion, under the new regime. And for all the people on Twitter saying that it's not a loss, well, it is, because Alan Hutton's going to play there. We looked more mobile on the right hand side with Al Mohammadi there in the second half of Derby.
100%. And Neil is a big loss. It's a huge loss because we've seen a side to him this season that we haven't seen. These real marauding runs. Gets himself forward at real pace, bombs down that left wing.
Not hesitant to put the ball in.
Absolutely no. It's been a completely different player because I think the leg breaker on Coleman changed Taylor, and you could see that he was far more reserved, quite calm, quite shy in his playing style. He didn't go above and beyond his comfort zone. Pretty much sat in at left back. Adopted far more defensive role than it was attacking. But God knows what Dean Smith's been putting in his cereals, because he's been a different player. He's been flying down that left wing. And we will really miss him against Blues because he's been an unsung hero in this Villa team of recent weeks.
Definitely. Coming in off a huge win, as you've already said, international break, you don't really think is what we need. I don't know, I think it's came at worse times.
Definitely,
but
definitely.
For me, what's encouraging is all the talk of these internal games that are being played. Henry Lansbury, Bree. There's a player inside of Henry Lansbury.
Yeah, I'm sure.
There really is.
I'm sure. I think it's been nice to see him on social media as well after the games, because for a player of Henry Lansbury's quality, being sat out in the cold must be really frustrating. And it's nice to see after the game he's always well done to the team and all this. And I think a lot of players in that position would shun away from that sort of thing, would have nothing to say, remain tight-lipped, and El
Ghazi for one.
Exactly. It's very easy, and I'm not blaming El Ghazi for that. I think a lot of players would do that in that situation, but it takes a certain level of professionalism, I think, to still put the team first and praise that. And he seems to have confidence, obviously, in what Smith's doing, and I hope there's a future for Henry Lansbury. I think the midfield battle, the performances that Conor Hourihane is putting in is certainly going to give Smith a headache going into the next game. And so Henry Lansbury isn't going to benefit from that, unfortunately, but he seems to have a lot of faith in what's going on at the club, and especially in Dean Smith, so hopefully players like that, as you say, getting the chance in these internal games can prove something, but we'll have to wait and see, I suppose.
The one thing I'll say about Henry Lansbury, and I remember tweeting about it after the playoff final, there was probably 3 players out of the whole squad who mentioned next season, like on social media straight away, which for me was encouraging to see, because obviously it's a hard loss to take, and we were all sort of mourning it, and some of us still are. The club certainly is, but for me it was great to see someone, as you say, he's been out in the cold, and Henry Lansbury is, from what I understand, I don't want to say he has an ego, but I think he believes in his ability, and is someone who, for me, I think he could be in the squad every week. Obviously, fitness and whatever. I'm not in the camp. I can't tell you why Henry Lansbury's not playing every week. But I think 2 weeks for him with Dean Smith before the Blues game, and a couple of the other lads will be really beneficial. I think even Bree's been mentioned. Although I'd imagine if Taylor is injured, it will be El Mohammadi on the right and Hutton on the left. It'll give Bree a really good chance to sort of stake his claim. And everyone, I know we've got a lot of people out on international duty, which it must be hard for the manager. But I think the team, it almost picks itself really. So this is a good chance for the fringe players to say, look, I'm here, give me a go. I know Bjarnason's. I don't think he's gone away with Iceland.
No, I don't think he is. Yeah.
Obviously, one we'd both be delighted to see in the squad, but as I say, you can't really change a winning team.
No, you can't, especially with not one that played as well as they did against Derby. So,
not a tinker man who's Fulham.
Yeah, I know.
Crazy though.
Unbelievable, and I think whilst we were touching on the playoff final, I think it just is the reality of football, isn't it? And I think that there is that kind of insecurity about the game, and we talk about players like Henry Lansbury and those kind of fringe players. You can go from hero to zero, like Jukanovic did in no space of time, and Henry Lansbury has suffered something similar. And so, I think it's a funny old game, isn't it? It certainly is, and I think hopefully, I'd like to see Ranieri do well, but there is a part of me that wants for them to stay bottom of the league.
Of course, especially to spend 150 million on midfielders.
I'm quite happy with them getting relegated.
Obviously, coming into the Blues game, they were 2-0 up against Hull, and they somehow managed to lose a 2-0 lead and claw it back for 3-3. I know Djukovic has been the man on most Birmingham fans' lips recently, who, as it pains me to say, has been in fine form, but a hat-trick from Che Adams is remarkable, really, isn't it?
Remarkable is the perfect word, mate. That is surprising. I think Blues. Gary Gardner has, been the Brummy Pirlo apparently in that midfield. I've heard great things about him. Yeah, and that's what I mean. I think it's we all know what Derby's like, and everyone knows there's the old cliche that form goes out the window, and it's all about. And obviously, to an extent, that is true. And I think we've got two informed teams coming into this game. Blues is probably coming to an end a week before they'd have wanted it to be honest.
Yeah.
But there's two teams that are clearly capable of playing good football. Jukovic is the man, and Che Adams, as you said, it was a surprising one, but Jukovic is the danger man. Gary Gardner won't play, I'm assuming.
He won't.
Yeah. So it's going to be an interesting team, I think. I think it's going to be physical. Everyone knows what the derby is all about. And I suppose that plays to Jukovic's style of play, probably more so than it benefits our strikers, but I'm not too worried about it.
No, I think in terms of the game plan, it will be the exact same, and of course it will be a battle physically. But I think Dino's not going to compromise his brand of football to lower himself to match Birmingham, because we don't need to match them physically. We don't need to be. And I'm sure there will be tackles flying from certain players, and especially if Alan Hutton's playing. You can't help but think he's going to kill someone again, like Vassell last time. But I think we're gonna put Blues in a bit of a difficult place with the way we're playing, especially at home. You have to be dominating teams at home, especially in the derby. I think Jukovic does worry me purely because. Chester's not been poor this season, but he's going to be targeted. Monk is not going to tell Jukovic to try and go at it with Axelton Zabi, because that's going one of two ways. I think with Chester, he's probably got a bit more he can work with, and it seems that Chester at Upton Zabi can't play on the other side either. And I think teams are realising that now and targeting Chester, because I know Chester obviously moved when Terry came, but I don't think Axel's capable of that, which is fair. But I think, especially even with Hutton at left back, there's got to be an understanding in the team, and maybe maybe with Hutton it may be beneficial if Jukovic is on Chester if Hutton's playing left back. Because he's a striker that does like to peel off the centre half and cause the fullback a bit of trouble. He's a bit of a poacher as well. So when we're talking about not changing a winning team, is this a game for Bjarnason?
Yeah, I think.
I don't know how I managed to bring that to Bjarnason. I always do.
Everything is. I think everyone knows what Villa's weaknesses are, and they've been exposed right from day one.
Even the fullbacks.
Yeah. Get down the wings, put pressure on the fullbacks, and then once you're there, get it into the box.
It's exactly what Smith did with Brentford.
Yeah, it is, and it's there for everyone to see. Everyone, Nyland's not been the most confident going up into the air. The centre backs, as I said, although I think on the deck, and especially, I thought they were fantastic at it the other day, but aerially, there are still problems there, and I think if Alan Hutton's playing at left back, there's a chance for him, to potentially put a foot wrong. And everyone knows, as I said, what Villa, and so Blues are going to come up. It's going to be an expected performance. I imagine we're going to see a lot of balls put in, the centre backs under pressure. Asking Nyland to come out of his goal to claim a lot. It's everyone knows what we're going to be expecting from Blues, but everyone knows what we're going to be expecting from teams for a long time. Defending balls into the box and crosses has been a problem from as early as I can remember this season. We've seen Villa concede from set pieces, and we haven't really managed to do with it. And so the performance against Derby, the clean sheet was as impressive as the 3 goals that we scored, in my opinion. So I really want us to try and take that defensive solidarity into this game, because it's going to be a very demanding one for the defence. But as you said, we can't lower ourselves to that. It's easy, when one ball's being hoofed at you in a derby, to pick it up and hoof one straight back. But what we need to do is, in that atmosphere, have calm heads, cool players on the ball, to just take it down. Which is why I think the position that Horahan's taken up in recent weeks is going to be important, because it allows us to get that foot on the ball, get it on the deck, pass it. I genuinely believe if we can fire on the same amount of cylinders that we did in the derby at second half, I think we'll make mincemeat of Blues. I really do, because there is no team in the league that can cope with a team playing like that. I genuinely think we were untouchable, and so we're going to start slowly. I imagine I don't suppose for a second we're going to be going in at half time 3-0 up. But
that would be nice.
Stranger things have happened, like Villa winning the Intertoto Cup on 2 occasions.
Coming soon.
But no, I think at the end of the day, we've got to play our own game. They're going to play theirs. They're going to play the party poopers, come and disrupt it all. But Smith's an experienced manager, and I think the influence of Terry and it's just instilling that calm head to don't lower yourself to their game, as you're saying, but to play ours.
So on that note, I'm going to ask you for a prediction again. It's that time. You sound pretty confident.
Yeah.
I think feeling more confident as the days go by. So let us know what you think.
I think we're going to see 3-0, 3-1 Villa.
Any goal scorers?
Bjarnason hat-trick, they are. Mate, that's one for you.
Mate, I put my student loan on that. I can see 3 goals being scored, whether it's 2-1, 3-0. I'm not sure. I think it'll be competitive as always, as we'd expect a derby to be. But I think we should show it.
I hope so, mate. I hope so. We've definitely got it in us. So I think it wasn't a one-off what happened in that second half.
No.
It was.
That's the start.
It was exactly. It's the work of weeks
and
weeks of work on the training ground, and so that's not going to disappear. Smith is going to see that, and he's going to be working. They're going to be watching the videos back, trying to figure out exactly how to replicate that in this game. So I've got a lot of faith in the manager that he can do just that.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening and watching. It's been great to do this again, Dan.
As always, thank you very much.
Received some very nice comments on the last podcast, so thank you guys for obviously for thinking that we're intelligent and that we can talk about this.
I think they're the only ones that do.
Yeah. So yeah, if you enjoyed this, hit the like button, comment your thoughts below, subscribe for more, and up the Villa.